I do introduction. Okay, this is PhD podcast number 3. This is my dream to record this guy for a long time. I was big fan of Twitter. Then he left Twitter, and Paul Partesi didn't left Twitter. But Paul Partesi called this guy one of the smartest guys, and I agree, this is smart guy. It's a tragedy he's not on Twitter, but he's doing his blog or whatever. And today he is first time on KGB podcast. I'm excited as shit. Brother, tell us how this year without Twitter you living? Do you have any?
How's life without Twitter? It's very primitive. Yesterday I had to start a fire with some bushes and leaves.
Yeah. Do you lift? Do you do like physical activities?
Yeah, I do lift, but I've been moving away from fitness.
Yeah.
Because I've been moving away from lifting because I've been reading Erwin LaCour's Natural Movement book. Some people are going to accuse me of being a shill because I always talk about Erwin LaCour, but I think he's like the Bruce Lee of fitness. I think he's like the next.
Can you repeat the name, please? I didn't catch it.
Erwin LaCour.
I didn't know about it.
MoveNat.
No, I didn't know about it. What does it consist of? A set of exercises or something?
So you know how the paleo diet changed like how we think of diet?
Yes.
That's how I see MoveNat. MoveNat is like the paleo of exercise. It's like going back to our ancestors' movements. You know, the gym will only train you in a certain way, but it's very low dimensional. But if you're climbing a tree, if you're pulling yourself up off a cliff, that requires so many motor skills and ways of thinking and physiological changes that you don't experience at the gym.
You're right. So what is the routine usually going? How you do? Climb tree and then you do what? Running?
I climb a tree when I can. When I find a tree that isn't owned privately by someone who can shoot me, I try to climb that tree. But in general, so I'm just getting into this. I'm very new to this. It's still like a work in progress kind of thing. I'm still reading his book. So, but I'm slowly shifting from lifting to that. I'm trying.
Well, because gyms are closed in Russia, I didn't do lifting, but I do cold. I do cold for half a year now, and it consists of like taking cold shower and generally sleeping with the open windows. I don't know. It's like cold resistant training, but I'm now at the level when cold didn't seem cold. Because you got your nervous system or whatever it's called, parasympathetic system, it became adapted. It started working like aggressively towards cold, and it's really not cold.
No, but your study is biased because you're Russian. It's in
yeah. So I doing cold, but I want to do lifting too, and everybody doing lifting at home those days, as far as I know, because the gym's a little bit compromised. I wanted to catch. Did you already have a COVID, or you still waiting to get it?
I'm still waiting.
I think I had it, but you might have it, and you can feel nothing. If you have a good immune system, you can catch it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What is your perception of this world with the epidemics and stuff like this?
Okay. I just want to say, you said something in the beginning, but I have to discuss. I don't know what Paul is talking about. I think Paul was probably drunk when he said I was the smartest guy. I don't know anything. Like legit, I don't know anything more than the next guy.
Maybe I make it up. Maybe it's not him who called you this. Maybe it was Trishank or somebody. I don't remember. But what I remember is I was impressed by you. And we have some problems because I was a little bit stupid to accuse you of some shit, and I apologize for that. But beside that stuff, whatever you was doing, I was always impressed. So I think this, brother.
I appreciate it.
Smartness is when somebody doing something that like have original value in it. And this for me means smart. Of course, you may be not a Steven Pinker level of smartness, unfortunately, but you are an original guy. So yeah, maybe
someday I'll be.
So I personally want, you need to get back to Twitter maybe for a month to check it out, to have a better test how it works, because I don't believe really that Twitter is the problem. I think problem is just in general, in life we're living today, its problem is we process information very individual, like we take information personally, but we need to learn how to take information as an abstract level too. So Twitter can be affected to your lifestyle, to you, how you think about things, but my conviction is it's possible to filter out these problems and to make it useful and to not get a little bit. Look at fucking Taleb. Taleb using Twitter every day, he get millions of interactions in it, and I'm sure he only read about 1/10 of it, or maybe 100 of it, and yet the guy's still okay. Travel, writing books, he wrote a lot of good books while on Twitter. So that should be the way to master.
That's a good point. Yeah, but I mean, I'm also not Taleb. Like, I think
yes,
it's not easy. I don't know how he does it. I mean, I think he's addicted, but you didn't hear from me.
Well, I think he understands the randomness of it. So you got a randomness, and you got like kind of you did read it. You didn't read it, and people think it's like a bad thing to don't read when people try to tell you something. But there is no other way. You have to learn how not to read shit too. Because there is
exactly. Yeah, that's a very good point. I agree wholeheartely. Yes.
There is too much.
It's noise signal ratio. You have to know how to tune out noise, which Taleb does very. Like I've literally first time I tried to talk to Taleb, we were in a group of people. I go up to him, I start rambling, and he just like looks away and like gets bored and just walks away. in the middle, I was like, wow, this guy is like a genius.
I went on a call with him too. I make him alert by calling him brother. So I always knew how to grab his balls. But there was an amazing meeting. He was walking in the woods and he just joined walking in the woods. It was amazing. I also a big fan of walking. I do a lot of walk, and that's how I decompress myself. I do long walks, and I don't believe it because like the people say you didn't have to listen, you just have to walk, like your book, Be One with Nature. I don't believe none of this. I go in the zone when I walk, and that zone is like a psychological space. It's like a 4-dimensional. I start to like thinking like, like really like fast or whatever happen. I don't know. I thinking like Africans say when you see the landscape, they sing the song of the landscape. So drums, when they play drums in Africa, it's a landscape. They symbolize landscape somehow. This is what I heard from somebody. So for me, when I'm outside, I'm in a landscape, I start thinking really, really well. And what I mean really, really well, I get a lot of ideas, like, out of the blue in my mind.
Right.
I do stuff like this. So I'm doing a lot of walking, and I can sometimes listen music, sometimes I can read Twitter, sometimes I can do nothing. But for me, it's not about being one with nature. For me, it's just about being blood circulation flowing or whatever happened. I don't give a shit. But it's working. For me, it's working. So
right.
You should do what
it's very funny you say that. I started walking last week. I've been walking almost every day since like a week and a half ago. Just to get some sunlight, and like I don't listen to anything. I don't even think about anything. I just keep walking. Yes. And it's such a, like, physiologically, I feel so much like healthier, happier, just like in general. It's just like, it's so weird. Like walking is so important.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's very important because it's, there is this thing we have on planet Earth. We're living in it. So there is something happen when you walk it. Because when you stay in one place, there is only so much there.
Right. Yeah, it's like you have mental blockages if you sit too long. So when you walk, it's like actually like clearing out like mental arteries, like thought arteries.
Yeah, maybe it's this lindy shit because we used to walk for a million years or whatever. There is less.
Sure. Actually, Guru has a challenge I'm gonna do because I'm at home right now in Missouri. I grew up in Missouri, but I'm going back to New York in January. Yeah. When I go back to New York, I'm gonna do this challenge that Guru Anaerobic challenged in one of his books. Walk 100 miles in 5 days. So that's 20 miles a day. I don't know how to convert that to kilometer, but
it's about 40 kilometers a day. It's possible. So about 60,000 steps a day. It's going to be hard, but you maybe need to buy some Red Bull or whatever that you're going to get, a little bit.
I have plenty of energy myself. I never drink Red Bull. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. Nothing.
Well, your legs gonna feel it, brother. On a day 3, your legs gonna feel it.
And I have the barefoot shoes, so there's that. It'll hurt.
I would recognize this type of shoes. Barefoot shoes. I heard about them, but I never wear them. Are they nice? Feeling nice, right?
I can't go back to normal shoes. I can't go back to normal shoes anymore.
I need one.
Vivo barefoots, because normal barefoots look weird, but Vivo barefoots, they look like actual normal shoes. They're just like thinner soles, so you should get those.
Nice. But what if you're flat-footed? It shouldn't be okay to wear them, I think, right? I'm very flat-footed, I think.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I'm not flat-footed, so I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, 100 miles in 5 days. Okay, brother. What else you want to do with your life for the next year? It's always, this crazy year is almost over. What you gonna, maybe you have like some, some idea about like, okay, going back to Twitter, you're going to consider, but maybe, what else?
What else? Well, actually, I mean, there's other guru challenges I want to do. If you want to hear about those, like one of them is stay on your feet for 24 hours. You cannot sit down. You cannot lie down. You have to stay standing for 24 hours. So not only are you sleep deprived, but your legs are gonna feel it. So I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah, well, that should be possible too.
Yeah.
That should be possible.
Yeah, and not much else. I'm graduating school next May, so I'll be done with school, and then I start working in the fall. So my life is kind of becoming an employee.
So you're gonna become the great citizen, the great taxpayer. Well, this is good.
Great slave. Yes.
This is good too. No, why slave? Maybe you're gonna be the greatest entrepreneur of the era, or whatever. I really believe.
Hopefully.
I really believe this. Yeah, I'm gonna show this shit to everybody. Say, I knew down the line that's going to happen. Well, I mean, because we're not in touch for a too long time, I don't know what topics to discuss. But when I remember you was converted to Christianity 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
Or something like this. Then you was attending, or you was planning to attend RWRI, right? Did you do this conference shit that is happening on Taleb Institute? Have you ever been?
Yeah. So I got to attend RUI. Very, very fun. Yeah.
And that's how it all started, I guess. That's how we met, because it was in a group of these people who doing this.
Yeah.
So since you did this conference, do you see anything different in the world today, like from what you see it before you tried? Because I didn't try it. I tried to convince the scans I need a scholarship because I don't have 3,000 Russian euros. Converting course is crazy for me. I tried to get a scholarship, but nobody apparently want to give it to me. So
keep trying. Eventually, they'll remember your name, and they're gonna be like, "Okay, we gotta. This guy's too annoying. We gotta give him something."
Yeah,
just keep trying every year.
But I'm telling you this that I don't think I need to learn anything. I mean, it's probably going to be interesting stuff, and it's going to be a lot of interesting information. But I feel like in my life that I'm okay mentally about stuff.
I mean, I'll say I love Ruri, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to go. Met so many people. The number one thing I will say for someone like you, if you think you've pretty much got everything, you kind of get all the ideas and all that stuff, you don't have to go. You just meet the people, meet them on Twitter, or go to New York while it's happening, and then just meet the people for dinner afterwards or something. Get to know the people, because that's the biggest benefit I saw, was meeting the people.
Yeah. But do you have like a practical application from it? Because there was a lot of statistical or mathematical ideas too, right? Like computing probabilities and stuff like this.
Considering I'm still a college student, it's like kind of hard to apply any of that stuff to my life. Mainly for me right now is just focus on f of x, not x. I think that's been the biggest thing. That aphorism itself is applicable to so many things, just like looking at the exposure to me rather than me being right or wrong.
Well, I tell you what, when you're college student, you can calculate probability of having the best girlfriend in the school. You have to have some kind of metric for them. And
you would think that, but it's actually the other way around. You have to know who to avoid. You got to be very careful with your interactions with girls, because of Me Too. All the cancel culture going on today, that's the exposure you're exposed to.
You have to compute the toxic ones and then just leave the rest for the nature.
Exactly.
I mean, but it seems like we're going to this time of life when this is going to be main, this ideas about X not FX or whatever is going to be very needed, because it's going back to Twitter stuff. There is need to be a discipline, or people need to understand how to approach life when you get too much of good. For example, too, when you get too much good conversation, still it's not good to have too much good conversation, because it's like you're quitting Twitter to do your brain work. It's going to be an issue for everybody eventually, because look, this is my thing. Twitter, you grow it, you get a lot of support from people, but this support can in itself be a problem too, because if support is not is not like if it's emotional support, for example, this is how I see it. It's not a motivation to change you to do something what you really want to do. You will start to listen to people around you, and you will try to make whatever you're doing so it's going to be satisfactory to them, like a theater, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And for example, even if you have a lot of interesting music, you cannot choose which music you want because it's all good. But when you have like some kind of idea about what you want to do, you always introduce this element of personal choice. And this element of personal choice need to be a way to do with excess of information we are living in, and excess with people too. For example, I knew I want to do stuff with you without any metrics involved to it. It was just in my mind. It was just.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just want to do it, and this stuff is more interesting and more when it's out of the blue stuff. It's like walking and get ideas or whatever. Healthy life, you know, like this. So. Yeah, I guess we're going to see the world when the people, we need to go beyond positive information flow too. Go beyond the world when you have friends, these friends you need to dump too. You need to get like to your own project, to your own book. This book is satisfactory, you know. When you do original stuff, it's not satisfactory to people because they don't understand. When they understand, it's too late. Or it's very rarely you have a interesting idea in your mind and you try to do something or sell something or develop some idea, and you get a group of people who understand it and say, yeah, it's great. No, it's not like this. It's usually like, you know, struggle to do it because
like Taleb said, it's you don't want to be like a best-selling author. It's better to just have a cult. Following than to be like a popular author.
Yeah, but cult a little bit esoteric, you know. Cult is like a little bit just a belief. It's a little bit different. It's support. It's like I mean, I'm sorry to be so personal. I try to support you. I mean, I try to like tell you that you're right in things, but it's not about like you want a job or whatever. You want to have some diet. It's not about this. It's more about like life goals or seeing life certain way. So yeah, I mean, a little bit awkward to talk about it actually. Just
you're very. I could tell your flow is you're very like a lot of ideas happening at one time. Like when just listening to you, I have like so many thoughts that just come to my head.
Yeah. Well, I have a podcast. I think my podcast is going to be the greatest podcast because
it's pretty good so far. Yeah. Do you know Frank Cardona?
Yes.
Yeah, he had a podcast too.
Yes, he wanted to do podcast with me, but this guy is fishy as fuck. I say, okay, let's do podcast. He say, yeah. I don't like this type of guys when they say they're gonna do something and then they just disappear into the wind.
Well, I mean, he had like personal stuff. I mean, he's a cool guy. He's a very I like him a lot. He's a very
Yeah. He contacted me. We was in touch, but he disappeared. I don't know why. There's sometimes people just come and go. I don't understand it. Yeah. We have a Tony Bar in the Discord. We have John Norman there, the guy who sells love, who sells olive. We have a lot of people on Discord now, but this Discord is a little bit Discord server.
Yeah, I didn't know you had a Discord server.
Yeah, there is even Rory Sutherland there doing video call with us. It was the Sebastian, the guy from London. He set it up because of the election, and we sit there watching Trump losing with Rory Sutherland. Rory Sutherland was there, and Rory Sutherland was predicting that Trump is going to lose. I say, no, Rory, this is impossible because, you know, because radical shift. He said that Trump was radical shift and it's going to be backlash again, radical shift. Like you get two stupid events in history. Like first is Trump, then is Biden, but they both like unpredictable and not looking apparent on the face. Yeah.
That makes sense.
This guy is a marketing genius. What you gonna do? He is. You know,
I mean, I read some of his stuff. It's like this guy's like on another level.
You know, he reminded me of this guy. When I see him, of course it's on the web camera, but he reminded me of this guy. You want to pet him? He's so nice, and he just like sitting there, smiling. This type of guys, they exist. They just didn't inflict no aggressive emotions towards them. They're just nice. Of course, maybe I want to see this motherfucker in a board meeting in his firm when he's doing.
Yeah, me too. That'd be interesting.
Because he might transform to some killer who just
he's probably that guy who like dominates the conversation and just like everybody just like
Well, you know who was original? This David Ogilvy, who set it up, this firm. He was original. He has a great books, and this David Ogilvy is the marketer from the 80s. And he started or even 70s. And he started by, how you call the guy who ring the doorbell and try to sell you something. He just go around.
Like door sales. Yeah.
Yes, he was this. And Ogilvy books also very interesting. Rory Sutherland books more philosophical. Ogilvy books more about like how to sell. And I learned a lot from David Ogilvy. David Ogilvy was original like Goliath of advertisement. And
I wonder what Jaffer thinks of them.
Yeah, Jaffer I think is familiar with him at least because Jaffer approach. For example, Jaffer always indicate that he used the cheapest possible way to deliver information to client.
Right.
Like a long time saying you should have mail list and not a Twitter or Amazon.
Text messages.
Yeah. So I think Jaffer is knows. And also Grant who doing something strange also because Grant might be not even read it, but Grant understand it on a instinctive level because how else you can figure out you can do plates in America that cost 3 times as much as China plates and they sold out. We talk with Matthias, he say they already sold out. This fucking place expensive as shit. They cost a lot. You can buy Chinese like for 150 pounds, and yet he sold it. And every like batch he made already sold out. Imagine this guy is genius. Grant is is really knowing about advertising and about how to sell. This thing's not coincidence, brother. This is some kind of like people have intuition or some kind of talent.
Yeah, and it comes from actually doing it instead of like just reading books, theorizing.
Yeah, I mean, there is a risk to it. There is risk, but there is idea itself rings true. When you have idea about it, like selling American plates to Americans, it's not so stupid, right? It's not like selling, whatever dust from Mars or whatever. It's not so. Yeah, I mean, this guy's Jaffer. Yeah, there is also. I'm a big fan of Virgil. Then I don't know who is this guy. He's supposed to be Bitcoin guy, right? But
his identity is supposed to be anonymous. You can't. No one can know who he truly is.
He's crazy.
He's like a superhero.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy, and Investment Hulk is crazy. Well, many guys are crazy,
Have you read his short stories? They're pretty good.
Yeah. And aphorisms too. But even Virtual Dance short stories. Yeah, well, they on his website somewhere. I think
you should check them out. They're really good. They're really good. I kind of want to be like that. Like I don't think I'll ever write like a nonfiction book, but I think someday I'll probably write like of my own story or something. I'm really into like writing like fiction.
Yeah. Well, the more I think about it, the less I see the difference between fiction and non-fiction. For example, if you look at the Herzog films that are supposed to be documentaries, there was always element of artist design there, which is make it really interesting. And all this fiction non-fiction bullshit, I think, invented by Amazon employees. Fiction biography, non-fiction biography. It's always fiction to a certain degree. Non-fiction, what do you mean? It's a physics books.
Life is not it's a very interesting distinction why they would. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Fiction, non-fiction. You think Donald Trump book How to Sell, or what is his famous book? Art of Selling is non-fiction? Come on, brother. All selling is fiction. Because it's not a story. If you don't have a story, how you gonna sell? But story is not like about atoms moving or planets colliding. It's about some horizon. You get how you write a good story. You have a horizon of possibilities, and you need to apply some kind of warmth around these possibilities that somebody who listen to the story that want to move forward with it. This is how you do it, I think. And it shouldn't even be linear. It can be a non-linear story. It can start in the Middle Ages and end in some planet in future. But
like Michael Moorcock,
it has to have a horizon of possibilities, something that make somebody who read it to move forward. For example, I read this Stephen King book about his addiction to cocaine. It's called Misery, which is supposed to be the book where the protagonist of the book got kidnapped by some fat lady and got tortured because this lady likes his writings.
Oh my God.
This is a book about his cocaine addiction. And this lady is supposed to be cocaine and and what he did in this book, maybe I need to read more Stephen King, but what he did is he make a struggle of the hero of the writer who got kidnapped, his kind of inner struggle revealed, and it's like a story in itself, because there is a ground level of things. He got kidnapped, right? But then there is this he woke up, he got car crashed, he's pain, he feel pain, then he feel thirst, then he feel hunger, then he feel fear. This is what he really explained. And this is world of addiction, I guess he tried to explain, because when you got addicted, you want it all so much, you start bullshitting yourself that you need more and whatever. So he created this horizon of idea of possibilities inside this small story of kidnapping, and this is how book is.
I see what you mean. Yeah. It's kind of like I don't know. Do you know Sean McClure?
No.
Okay,
I think I heard about something, but I'm not.
He's got a great Medium blog, and he writes all about like computer science and machine learning and AI and stuff like that. It's great.
They had Mr. Fang once. I guess somebody told me they have a dinner and they start arguing about artificial intelligence. Yes, I know this guy. I know. I read him.
Him and Trishak are on the same side. They kind of agree with each other. But Sean wrote this piece, and in it, I mean, this doesn't really have to do with AI, but this is just like a part of his argument. And it was like, and I intuitively kind of thought of it as well before I read the piece, but it was basically like if you put you know the saying, like you're most creative when you have limits placed on you or whatever. It's like it's kind of like that. That's kind of like what you're saying. Like by starting with something so small, so many possibilities were opened up.
Well, the people ask me how you do 1 meal a day, what you eat. I say no, nothing. What is in the fridge? Because I don't want to make it too complicated. Special diet.
Exactly.
Hunger is the best chief. When you're hungry, when you didn't eat all day and you did a 20 kilometers walk, you're gonna eat 3 eggs and it's going to be, it's gonna be Michelin restaurant, level of perfection. So hunger. This is my philosophy. I only eat when I'm hungry, and I only do stuff when I'm hungry. So because when I'm hungry, I feel like endorphins, like excitement about life. This is like what I'm in. This is why cold too. Because cold, when I started to do it in the summer, I was trolling Trishang back then about it, because Trishang have a Medium article when he said like, "Oh, I'm doing these routines. I'm stretching. I'm lifting. I'm writing." And then he said that, and I do 10 seconds cold shower. And I say 10 seconds cold shower, you crazy, brother. It's entry level. Everybody can do 10 seconds, but it's like 10 seconds start to become nothing when you do it 3 days consecutively. You do 10 seconds, you didn't even feel it. So I do 3 minutes in the summer, and I said, brother, I do 3 minutes. Look, you do 10 seconds. What is this? And he said, yeah, but it's summer. Wait till it's going to be winter.
Right.
And then I start doing it in winter.
I remember that exchange. Yeah.
And now I'm doing it outside. I go to the church that is about 10 kilometers away, and I undress, and they have like cold water. You get a bucket and you can throw it on yourself.
Only in Russia you'd see this with the church. That's so cool. But I wish like we had churches like that here. I would so do that. I would.
And I always photograph it, and I sign it Trishang breakfast, and I send it to him. And every day I send the stuff. I try it. It's not every day, but this is my project, to remind him. But he was wrong, because when you do it in the winter, it's easier actually, because it's all about contrast. When it's already cold outside, your body already adapted. You understand?
But how hot does it get in the summer?
30 Celsius. I don't know how much Fahrenheit. Pretty hot.
Because my experience was the opposite. I feel like it's easier in the summer and harder in the winter.
No, because contrast. No, winter cold water feels hot. I don't know how to explain, but when you throw it upon yourself, you feel warm inside your body. When you do it in the summer, when you throw it on yourself, you feel like freezing or whatever. It's different. You need the colder it is outside, the easier it is to have a cold immersion in the winter. It's a fantastic experience. And then when you leave it, you feel so much power. In the summer, you don't feel power. You feel just a relief because it's hot. You feel, oh, now it's cold or whatever. You don't feel so much in winter, very special, brother. My dream is to go to swim in the river. I want to do the swimming when it's ice, you just have some hole, you dig the hole and you just go inside.
So you're basically trying to be like Russian Wim Hof.
Wim Hof, very impressive. From Wim Hof. And Wim Hof breathing shit is great. Wim Hof is amazing dude. Wim Hof, Wim Hof, the thing is he really true. He's saying the truth. It is not about personality. There is nothing in Wim Hof that is different from you and me. This is my sincere belief.
I agree. Yeah, I used to do a lot of cold showers as well, and like I did all that. I actually did very similar to what you were doing with like sleeping in the cold too. Like I would sleep on the ground. I was for 6 months. I slept off on the ground, no blankets, no pillow, nothing.
Yeah,
and I was miserable. But for some reason, I felt it felt so much easier for me in the summer than it was in the winter. So I don't know if that's more like just like based on your personality or whatever.
No, I think it's sometimes mental. It's a mental thing because I think I have this too, and I have this every morning. Swear to God, when I go to fucking cold shower in the morning, it feels like oh my God. But then 2 minutes later, when I'm doing it, it feels like why I haven't fucking thought this way. And this cycle repeat every morning. But I think it's in the head. It's in the head because you have it's like idea that is going to be a problem. What is the problem? We have idea that is going to be a problem. And where this problem really living.
It's all like rewiring the brain.
Yes, we rewire it. Wim Hof breathing, amazing shit. I do it every day. I try to do it more often. But when I was in school, everybody smoked weed. And so I smoked weed. It is exactly the same Wim Hof, but without weed. It's amazing because with weed you get a little bit paranoid. You need to smoke it. Like in Russia, you cannot smoke it. You can get caught by police. It's problem, But with fucking breathing, you can do it, no problem. So this Wim Hof breathing, I'm very happy about it, And
but I'm also skeptical, like what kind of benefits it would bring to your body. Like, yes, your circulation might get better from the cold showers. Breathing might help you de-stress. But in general, I don't know if
willpower. For example, I'm playing chess. You need to concentrate on the move. Sometimes you see the good move, but it's a trap because you make a good move and then you don't see something, It's a willpower. And the breathing too, because you hold your breath.
Can it be domain dependent? Like maybe you develop willpower in cold showers, but you still don't have willpower like in chess or something.
Well, it's about mind training. It's about mind training. I think it's everywhere. The same, it's stressful. Some things that it's like lifting or whatever, you require a lot of body tension to make it happen. So when you do these cold showers and whatever bullshit, it's a stress that converts to willpower through the mind. Because when you know that there is certain levels of activity that feels hard and you think, oh, I can't do this. But then 10 seconds later, there's some kind of transformation happen in the mind and you can. For example, it's the same with cold. When you just go outside when it's really cold, it feels cold. You want to go back to warm stuff. But if you walk outside 15 minutes or something, you adapt it and you feel like, oh, no big deal. It's cold, but
I had to do that with Shashank and Ryan last winter, two winters ago, last winter. I don't remember when we all did no jacket winter.
Last winter, when he got back pain, Trishank, right?
But up until that point, we weren't wearing any jacket. I had t-shirt and gym shorts on every day.
Yeah.
That was hell. But I mean, at some point, I did eventually, like, my brain just learned to shut up, and I just didn't think about anything when I walked in the cold.
Yes.
But then it came back. Like a few months later, I got used to it, and then
It's like having a bad girlfriend. This cold things too. Yeah, I feel too. I feel too. It's like one day she loves you, another day she hates you. But there is something there. I'm telling you, because I did a lot of stuff. I did meditations. I was translating for Tibetan lamas. I was in Nepal. I was a lot of NLP guys I know personally. I know a lot of this shit, hypnosis. But I was never so excited about code, or I'm not never about anything so excited as I'm excited about this stuff. Because this is how we build. By nature, we built to tolerate these levels of stress. It's not good to be a schmuck who cannot have a cold shower. It's not good. It's better to be a schmuck who can do cold shower because you have a lot of power.
I've thought a lot about that, but why I ended up stopping was I realized that, like, today we live in a society where, you know, we have technology, we have heating everywhere, and I feel like I would rather train my willpower in the areas that, like say in boxing or wrestling. I do judo for 3 years now. And you know, when you're wrestling, that requires a lot of willpower. As soon as you lose focus, as soon as you get tired, you're pinned or choked or with armbar, you know. So it's like, outside of that, I prefer to like I used to do a lot of cold showers, and then I stopped because I realized a hot shower is one of the pleasures of life. Why would you want to deprive yourself of that? It's really it's like having, you know, like eating great food, you know, or indulging in other pleasure. It's one of those. It's like,
I think
a treat now and then.
Yes, I think it's useless to argue about this stuff, really, because there is no answer to it. There is no. Of course, there is the cold shower or the hot shower. There is no. It's like an argument. Blondes or brunettes, better girls, you know, whatever. I think if you have romantic relationships and a feeling of adventure with something you're doing, like I'm doing with cold, I sincerely, you know, enjoy it. So I cannot translate this enjoyment in the words, and it's not necessary. I mean, I just found it. For me, it's working, and I'm not going to be the idiot who going to think it's a world problem solver to do cold showers. Of course not. But Wim Hof is right. Everybody can do it. If they want it, they can do it. It's not superhuman ability. Whatever it helps is not matter. If you don't enjoy what you do, right, there is no point in struggling to get better in cold showers if you don't enjoy it. But there is something. It's you know, it's maybe not a big deal, but it's certainly like you know, something there. I don't know, brother.
So I'm pretty curious, like, if I can reverse this situation and I interview you. I'm actually very curious about you. Like, I don't know anything about you. You just randomly appeared on Twitter one day.
And I did everything I want in life, actually. I was a very musician, very like certain musician. I met them all personally. I travel. And now I'm just doing actually a lot of radio work. I'm just doing pirate radio when I play music and artists didn't get royalties from that. But I believe some music need to be heard. And I believe people that listening to my radio would never encounter this music by themselves. And I read very little those days because I just don't. I read spy novels and stuff like this, but I never read like math books or whatever. And I program a little bit. I'm a fan of Emacs system. My radio run on Emacs, and I'm Linux. I'm doing Linux programming. You know, I don't know. I want to sell olive oil in Russia. I'm talking with the Selo Slav.
I love that guy.
We have a project. Maybe he would be good enough to do something in Russia, and I want to do it with him. So I'm just. This year is the best for me because I was always living like this. I like to have secluded life. I don't like to meet nobody, and I like to have my own tools. Now I have excuse to do it because it's pandemic. Yeah, I can have
So everybody, that's great. Look at you're thriving. You know, you're learning to become anti-fragile from this whole pandemic situation.
Yeah, I'm a learner. I mean, I like to do podcast, but this because podcast is a. How many times in life you met person you want to interview? Not many times. So for me, doing podcast is fun. But generally, I don't like to talk to people too much. I like to just I like thinking. I like to sit, and I like to have this wandering around mind. It's my pleasure, and I like to be fascinated by things. I see beautiful things all around me. I don't know how to explain. It's like sometimes it's like music. They have these pictures from the older times, angels singing in your ear. I like this feeling. I had this feeling very often in my life, like beautiful things happening. And
I'd love to talk about music with you sometime, man. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, of course. It's you who sent Matthias who called my radio nihilistic, and you right, and you sent me to Google, and then we have a great time with Matthias after. Matthias is a great guy. Matthias feel me on this level too. So yeah, we can do. You know what we can do? We can do radio when we're going to speak, and you're going to say, "Oh, I like this Beatles song," and I'm going to say, "Oh, I like this Rolling Stones song," and we're going to. We're gonna like for an hour or whatever. We're going to like.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we can do it, brother. No problem. I will be very happy. We can do it. So I'm like this. I'm really not example for nobody, but I just really do what I want. I'm sorry, it sounds bad because people.
No. I think I got that feeling from you as soon as like when I first like saw your tweets on Twitter. Like I was just like, this guy's on a very unique flow that now
I don't need no followers. I don't need nothing. I'm happy. Of course,
I totally get that. I was the same way. I actually like. I feel like when I had like 20 followers on Twitter, totally different experience than when I ended up getting like 800. Like at 20 followers, it was like a small little community, like just you and friends. Like you share a little private world.
Yeah. Well, the more followers, the more nerves to say fuck off. But I'm doing. Yeah, I do. I say fuck off left and right, block them. Abuse them, all kinds of retweets, calling them idiots. I do stuff like this, so they're a little bit like not liking me. Yeah, I wanted to say something. I don't know. But yeah, it's like Guru made a huge impression on me. When Guru said you need to live wild in the city, this is what I'm doing too, in my own way, but I'm doing it. It's not physical. Of course, I do a lot of physical stuff, but it's more mental. I want to be invisible in the city, and I want to live a life how I feel today, And sometimes it's like chess, sometimes it's books, sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's this, that. But generally, it's not boring life. So like this, I don't know, brother. Even this podcast this podcast is a big joke on Joe Rogan podcast because Joe Rogan podcast is the fucking kind of I'm smart, interview smart people about certain topics, saving the world kind of energy. My podcast want to be two people talking on the street randomly without grandiose ideas, stuff like this. Yeah.
That's what I would talk to Frank about. It's like the podcasts that I found the most interesting. I don't listen to podcasts ever, except podcasts that my friends make, because the podcasts that have been most interesting to me are people who don't know what they're talking about. People who just want to like shoot the shit and just like talk about day-to-day life. It's so much more relatable. Joe Rogan interviews guests who are like, I know what I'm talking about. I don't want to listen to that. That's like listening to a lecture. I don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
This is Saturday. This is Sunday,
Yeah. I mean, this is why I'm doing it because I'm gonna be the greatest. People gonna look at my podcast 10 years, 2030. They're gonna look and say this guy knew something because there is a need. Nature need interactions that is not bound by interest. They need to be bound by this improvisational flow of language and stuff like this. And this is the seed of creativity lies, You get conversations about whatever, and these conversations can make the world turn around. They make stuff happen. Yeah. This is why I'm a little bit skeptical about this RWRI, certification, they all good. But what about today? What about people who don't have RWRI, who don't have nothing? What about them? God made them too. There is a purpose, to them too. So this purpose is not less important. It's the same. So adventure is the same everywhere. Doesn't matter.
I don't I don't mean to self-advertise, but if you look at my blog, like I try to write about stories of like just normal day-to-day incidences that happen to me.
Yes.
Sometimes, it's like I feel like today, because we're everybody watches so many movies and TV shows and everything. Yeah. Everything has to happen so significant. Like you can only pay attention to the significance. Like we all pay attention to Donald Trump. Nobody pays attention to the local politician. But day-to-day things that happen can be, if you just stop like looking at your phone for a second and you're just walking in the street and you just see something really interesting, that's pretty significant itself. Like
there is a real
mundane.
There is real kings of this world. They are butchers, people who wipe floors, taxi drivers, delivery guys. I don't know, this fat ladies on the community center that they are the real kings of they actually know a lot of stuff. Grandmothers, of course. People who are supposed to be not interesting, dull, shallow, one-dimensional, actually the most interesting. And I have some conversations with taxi drivers that, I call taxi drivers gangsta hip-hop. And this guy didn't even know English, but in his face, he feel it. He understand it on the deeper level. So my conviction is this. When you do stuff like taxi driver, when you start to serve people, you got this understanding of things that beyond intellectual. This understanding is more primordial, like ancient understanding of people. This is what I was thinking about. We are people who build pyramids and whatever shit, they probably wouldn't build it to impress nobody. They build it for different reasons. There is greatness in life, without credits, without finding some hidden knowledge. There is greatness in life without all this what is this adventure movies when you have like people travel to jungle to find some gold somewhere, stack gold, then they run.
Right.
Greatness in life without this. Actually,
I think movies were better back when nobody gave a crap about actors. When those like old early 1900s black and white movies that like nobody knew the name of the actors and they all died in obscurity. Those movies, if you watch those old, like I watch a lot of noir films from the 40s and 30s. You watch these movies, it's like the acting looks fake, but it's like there's so much depth to their stories that you wouldn't expect from modern day films. It feels more real.
The genius thing that Charlie Chaplin said when they start to criticizing him that your movie will have no interesting camera angles. He said, genius thing, I always remember. He said, I don't need interesting camera angles because I am interesting. And this is how I feel about life, It doesn't need to be interesting outside of, it doesn't need to be some hidden knowledge. It is interesting.
It doesn't have to make you laugh out loud. It can just make you smile. There's a lot of effect to like subtle, mundane things.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is how I see it today. And I travel a lot. I see all these creative people I admire. I never got nothing special from it. The best thing about it is just when you by yourself, I think. Gordon need to tell the roommate to fuck off, I guess.
No, sorry, hold on. It's just my mom came in to ask me something.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I called your roommate. I didn't know.
No. Yeah, I'm back home with my parents now while I'm waiting out the pandemic.
Yeah. So like this. I mean, this is it. I don't know. It's
yeah. Fun. No, I absolutely get where you're coming from, man. And I think that like I think you're right. Honestly, like you don't have to. Life looking for the most interesting things or like just waiting for you miss out on so much day-to-day interactions. Like one time, I would go to bars a lot when I was bored, and I would just just talk to strangers, and I just make random conversation with strangers. And it's just like like you'd be surprised how many interesting things that like people bring up. That
And you know what is there is? I want to do this podcast with a guy from Sweden, from Switzerland, called Ivan, and he always write about how to.
Oh yeah, I know Ivan. Yeah.
How to get good at interviews and how to interact with people, how to sell. It's all bullshit. There is the thing how to approach people. It works in any field. It works on the planet Earth, planet Mars, in heaven and at hell the same. You need to give 10 times more than you're asking. And this is how you approach people. There is no way you're going to get something without giving it first consistently. The only consistent way to interact with people, with strangers, with everybody, is to first to give them. You not expect like they give you back. You just give. You can, like God show off, you know? You show off, you give them, and they give you back. This is simple. This is how I made all my money. I didn't ask people, I was showing them, I was doing something, and then I was, asking for money or whatever when I already done. So it wouldn't feel for them like I am trying to kind of like I have some, like video call or text message doesn't matter if you are schmuck, Right. Like greatest CV if you're schmuck, it doesn't matter. You need to give help. Go to fucking third world country and build bridges there, and people who live there would hire you everywhere because they would see you're useful. You don't need to go to IBM offices and be the engineer there or whatever job is around geniuses, Google, or some kind of like a think tank where there is everybody with the greatest MBA certifications on the world. You need to go to people who need help. You need help. You need to give them help, and then they're gonna help you. Probably not so much as you give, but they would, the interaction would be much easier because it's based on you got results already done, something like this. Help people, just help people, they go and help you too. This is the simplest way to make. Not everybody going to help you, but you don't need everybody. You need 3, 4, 5 people who really like want to support you in this. You can live life. 3 or 5 good clients can make you so rich, it's crazy. You don't need one good client and you maybe for life done, or until he dies or whatever happens, he can pay you forever just because he thinks. This is why in Russian everything done in headshake. You see somebody, you in the kitchen drinking coffee, in 5 minutes you can have a contract for $10,000. No problem.
That's pretty true. Sorry, go on.
Without any kind of NLP, hypnosis, how to approach your client, right? Just on basic human ground,
Oh no, exactly. Like I don't like it when people try to like, how do I trick my consumer base into buying my product or like something like that. Like I guess some parts of marketing is
you cannot take that.
Yeah, exactly. Like as just like an artisan, like local artisan, your focus should be just something like just creating something you're truly proud of and just give it to whoever actually wants it.
Yeah. And to take risk to give something without getting back. You just you give. But when you give, it's always greatest feeling, satisfaction.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't succeed in it, you're satisfied inside yourself. Exactly. It doesn't make you, you didn't get allergy to your job, You don't want to have allergy to what you're doing. You want to feel disgusted, fake. This is why this guy who do the ring announcement, there is guys who have greatest job. These guys who have fights and they say, this is Mike Tyson. This guy enjoyed this fucking job. He didn't need no fucking... He had a simple role in the Grand Disease machine, but he's the one who invented it. He have a great time. He watch fights, first row. People pay good money for it. People travel like to Las Vegas and pay the fortune to my side. This guy watch the fights and get paid for it. This is what you want from life. What you want to do, you need to find this way of life. When you enjoy it and you have... and people give you money, for it. This is the best kind of true, yeah. You want to be like this. Why you need to be like somebody who struggled to make a living? Of course, it's necessary. There is going to be a moment. Even the Mike Tyson struggle or whatever, all guys struggle. But it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be in a plan. Like, I'm going a lot of struggle. Why you this? You should have a lot of fun, not a lot of struggle. And these days are easy because we have food. You can survive on eggs or whatever. why not try to find something that make you that you have fun and satisfaction and like living a dream. Living a dream actually is not so complicated idea, and not so grandiose idea. It's simple.
Right.
Just enjoy it. If you enjoy it, there is yeah. I mean. Like this, I don't know. So I want to do it as but he's a good guy. He's a good guy, I understand. But he's a good guy, but he didn't use his head. He need a little bit of. No. The Ivan from the Switzerland.
Oh, Ivan.
He didn't use his head. He only used his CV. But he didn't use head. It's not good. He need a little bit to use his head, and life can be even greater. I mean. Good guy, great. But but it's just not enough to be.
He has dreams of coming to America someday and stuff like that. I hope he figures
America. Yeah, but he needs to come to America without taking any antidepressants, because if you burn yourself, it's much harder to recover. You don't want that. Whatever the goal is, probably not a good idea to sacrifice, like they say, to sacrifice your soul is not good. And soul is really this perception of the world. I think, like when in Christianity they say it's a sin to be depressed. It's have a toxic soul. And you shouldn't be depressed. You shouldn't be down like low energy. You should have high energy. High energy is stimulated, and you should inspire people, not get depressed and take everybody down. If you get yourself to that stage, it's not worth it, I guess, to whatever you have, because there is rich guys who are very unhappy. What is this? It's not right. It shouldn't be this way. Of course, I'm sounding like asshole because I'm not that rich guy. So I probably didn't know.
I mean, you're pretty much rich in my eyes. You're basically a millionaire. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, you need to have uplifting energy around yourself, not depressing energy. Depressing energy we all don't need today. Depressing energy already we got enough everywhere.
Actually, the way I see it, it's not even avoiding depressing energy. It's just all energy can be converted. I got that from Andrew Tate. I don't know if you've heard of Andrew Tate. A lot of people don't like him, but I like him a lot because his philosophy.
He was trying to be a president, right?
Andrew Tate?
No, I was mistaking with another guy.
I'm talking about of Wooden, of Wooden, that guy. Yeah, 4-time. Yeah, but he talks a lot about how energy can be converted. Like if you're depressed, you can convert that energy into working out, into improving yourself in some way to get out of your situation. Because if you just lay there with your negative emotion, you're never going to do anything about it.
Yes,
and it's very true.
Yes, inspiring people is hard. It takes a lot of energy. Exactly. But being a schmuck is harder on yourself. And it's not healthy. You're gonna die. If you're gonna get depressed, you're gonna die. It's not good. You need to get alive.
If you sit in your depression, you're gonna die. But I think it's just because people don't want to embrace their depression. They don't want to accept, like they think of sadness, they think of negative emotions as a thing to avoid. But I say it's part of life. All emotions have their role in life. You should enjoy it.
Of course, yes. I mean,
to be human.
There's depression arises when you feel yourself like you are too big to fail. Depression. I can imagine there is depression when people just convince themselves they are not depressed. They're like, no, it's not depression. It's just my mood or whatever. But it's where the problem starts. You are happy when you're small, when you don't take stuff seriously, like
you're happy when you don't want happiness so bad. When you don't.
Happy. First thing to be happy is to didn't feel like a victim in life, and to didn't feel like a victim, you didn't have to think like somebody who get cheated or whatever. I mean, people sometimes take their life journey too seriously, and this is wrong. You need to take it lightly, because when you take it lightly, you can keep moving. There is no the people who like I don't know. There is people who get unhappy about taxi driver wasn't dropping them on the wrong street, they get depression for a day. They're going to say, oh, this taxi driver, whatever. And this is terrible. What kind of life is this? Is you get like one event and it's already affecting you for a whole day. And they go to their job and they say,
they have like a pre-planned idea of how they want their life to turn out every single day.
Sometimes you see somebody getting negative feedback and you see how they kind of get making it bigger and bigger and bigger, for the life, like making an event out of it. Why the fuck you need to make an event out of it? Just show it off and get over and move on,
That's true.
Stuff like this, And it's very simple. It all goes back to, in my mind, to give more than you receive, and this is how it works. Always give more. Don't take everything from somebody, and you can be a happy person. A lot of poor people, a lot of grandmothers, very happy. They're going to die. Why is they happy about? This is how they survive. They're happy about the day. They didn't get too much deep into meanings of life or whatever. They just happy. Learn from them. Old people in Russia, they didn't have a good time all their lives. They have Soviet, then they have transition, inflation, stuff like this. Probably some of their kids died, they have wars. Yet they're happy. Why? Because it's all about kind of light. You see the light and you being light yourself. And this is how you survive. And this is how you happily survive.
Yeah, it seems to me a lot of times depression comes from just it's like chronic stress. It's like chronic little small bad events that accumulate throughout your life. But the quickest recoveries from depression, in my experience and what I've seen from people, is when you have a spike of like really bad events happening to you, like bad news in one lump. And suddenly your body can't stay there. So emotionally you naturally come out of it. Anyway, so it's far better to have acute bouts of like, bad things happening to you, like, I don't know, your wife divorced.
No, problems is the great thing. Brother. What you were going to say? We're going to sound like a bunch of schmucks. Everybody live, what my message is, you live as you want, but don't complain at the end of the day. You're responsible for yourself. Whoever listen to this shit. If you get fucking depressed, it's fucking your fault. Not mine, not everybody, not God. God is too busy with other things. Don't complain to nothing. Just get fucking, moving. Do cold fucking showers. I have an idea that I didn't talk to people about serious things without taking cold showers first with them. So they get a little bit stressed, a little bit like down to earth. Being down to earth, this is why Buddhists are meditating. You need to get down to earth, down to basic comfort of living life. If you don't have basic comfort of living life, feeling the comfort of living life is a sickness. You need to get basic comfort from life, like the ground level. And this ground level, you grow, whatever you want. Tree or a mountain or a sea, you can grow in anything. Life is limitless in this way. So, But it sounds very, I understand it sounds a little bit cheesy and a little bit like, because it is. To speak about it is useless. You just have to live it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This
podcast is just like a book. It's like we open up possibilities for you to move forward, but like
it's greatest podcast. Yes, motherfuckers is gonna say it's greatest podcast, and it's completely useless too. This is how it is.
Exactly.
Okay, we keep in touch in Telegram, but brother, you should consider the recovery 2 weeks project for the Twitter at least, and we can get a lot of. 2 weeks.
I'll see. I'll see. I don't know. I don't really. I think my life is pretty good right now off Twitter. But I have fun keeping in touch with people out like in periphery, just like on other mediums. So you guys all interact on Twitter, and I'll stay in the periphery.
Yeah, I will put your podcast, your blog link to this.
Sure. I mean, it's not it's just it's a useless blog, just like this podcast.
Yeah. So you get some flack from people about it. They're going like, this is not. But people really, you can don't like Twitter, but I think, like from when we're starting to talk, you was one of the great Twitter personalities that really like make it multidimensional in Twitter space. Without you, because you wasn't playing the game everybody playing. So Of course, you get tired of it, and now you want to do your own thing. But it's like Miles Davis.
Discord server.
Liked to eat pizza and didn't play trumpet, but he was good at trumpet, so he had to play trumpet. And this is how jazz was born, you know. So this is how Twitter works too, you know. Sometimes you don't like it, but it's working.
Let me make money first. Once I have FU money, I'll come back to Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Can you please send me record of this? Okay. I don't know how you do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, love you. Great stuff. We keep in touch. You know. Right, let's get work moving, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Thanks for having me on. This was really fun. I love.
You're a great guy. You're a great guy.
You too.